There are 29,945 duplicate that have been attributed to 10,229 unique candidates. So if you're trying to play some naughty games there, please be careful because this might come back and bite you. Now you all know having an active express entry profile is such an important step in your Canadian immigration journey because express entry system allows for a federal skilled worker, federal skilled trade categories, and of course the Canadian experience class to be able to submit their application, to be able to express their interest so that you can be invited if your scores are high. IRCC on their FAQ page says very clearly that at any given point of time you can have only one valid active express entry profile and that you should not legally create more than one. However, when has that ever stopped people from creating multiple profiles? And people do it rampantly for different reasons. Sometimes people do it because they want to sort of have one profile with spouse accompanying, another one with spouse unaccompanying. Sometimes they want to have different knock codes. Sometimes they want to have different employment conditions. People do these things for different reasons, though it has been categorically stated, please do not do that. Also, what happens is when you create these multiple express entry profiles, and of course, let's say your scores are high, let's say you're 490 plus, what you're doing then is when the draw happens, you're taking away a slot for somebody else who would have been eligible because now you are sitting with two ITAs instead of one, and obviously you will only use one, so the other one is going to be declined or goes to waste. It could have been used by somebody else. But let's talk about some data. There are 29,945 duplicate that have been attributed to 10,229 unique candidates. That basically means about 10,000 of these candidates have multiple express entry profiles. Now earlier, IRCC was identifying these duplicate profiles, but the numbers were very less, were not very small. Not many people were creating these profiles. So they would obviously they obviously haven't done anything about it. But now with these numbers increasing, these sheer numbers that have been increasing, and this has been happening mainly after 2022, IRCC is considering some serious efforts to clean up all these duplicate profiles. Also, please keep in mind when you create these multiple express entry profiles, IRCC does have a record of your electronic footprint. So if you're changing your knock codes, if you're changing your work experiences, one versus another, IRCC has record of all of that. So if you're trying to play some naughty games there, please be careful because this might come back and bite you. Just have one active express entry profile. It is more than enough. You can make any number of changes in your active express entry profile, of course, reasonable changes, and it should not be a problem. And once you get an ITA, even then you can make some changes depending on what those changes are. And hopefully you will then have a successful application.